When a game out on the market sells well, then sequels are sure to follow it. A few sequels after, and a franchise is born. Eventually, the company behind the games decides that it would be a good idea to make the franchise take a different turn, what we know as a spin-off game. Many franchises have already done this, and some of these spin-off games have, in a way, turned into its own franchise, such as Mario Kart or Mario Party. Well, now the people behind the Animal Crossing series thought that doing spin-off titles are a good idea. So far, 2 have been released. Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer, and, the game I'm here to review today, Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival. When people first saw Amiibo Festival, they were kinda mad. You see, many of them just wanted another installment in the Animal Crossing franchise, not some spin-off game. However, I was actually kind of excited. I thought it was interesting to see the Animal Crossing series take a new turn, and I was okay with not getting Animal Crossing U. So now that I have my hands on the game, is it actually as good as I was hoping for, or not? Well, let's get straight into the review. The first thing that the game basically forces you to do is play its main mode, the board game. I had no problem with this, as it was what I was going to do anyway. While we're on the subject of the board game, let's talk about that first. While many may see it as a Mario Party clone, it isn't. In fact, it's a lot more laid back and feels like an actual board game. Another big difference is that there are no minigames. The goal of this mode is to be the person with the most happy points at the end of the game. You do this by going all across the board and doing your best to influence what happens to you. On the board are 2 types of spaces, pink and purple. Pink spaces grant you more happy points, while purple spaces take them away. Each space has its own event card that tells you why you lost or gained your happy points. And the cards delivered on what I wanted. That silly, wonderful Animal Crossing humor and atmosphere that I love about the games. In short, the writing here is really great, and I feel like it's often overlooked. Moving on. You can also earn or lose bells, which, in the end of the game, are counted and help you gain more happy points. From the trailers, this looked like all that really happens. But there, to my delight, is a lot more that goes on. Many events, like selling turnips or having Crazy Red stop by, can help you get these happy points. Each month also has its own activities, such as Toy Day or the fishing tourneys, which help break up the regular flow of the game and make it a bit more competitive and interesting. Another plus that I haven't mentioned is that you can pick what month you want to play on. This will not only change the looks of the board game, but also the activities that occur. For example, if you pick the month of December, you will be able to celebrate Toy Day, but not Bunny Day. One thing that I found a bit disappointing was that no matter which month you pick, the map is always the same. But the board is pretty big, so it isn't horrible. And you can have more animals move into the town by using amiibo cards, which help makes the board look new and more interesting. You can also add more things, such as a park fountain or a campsite, to the board. In conclusion, as the meat of the game, the board game isn't that bad. In fact, I'd say that I had a pretty good time with it. However, it's best played with all human players, and it can get a bit long. But overall, I enjoyed it quite a bit. To unlock the rest of the game, you must do the board game at least twice, which I found kinda dumb. This will also turn away people who didn't enjoy the board game and were already iffy about the game in the first place. Moving on though. In total, there are 8 minigames to unlock, which range from bad to pretty awesome. One gripe I had about the minigames though, is that you can't play them all right away. You must earn enough happy tickets to unlock them. This was a really stupid move in my book, and only artificially lengthens the game. Why can't I just have all the games at my disposal? Another dumb move in my book is I can't even play all of them. Some of the games require 6 amiibo cards, and the bundle comes with 3. Speaking of not having enough of something to play, the bundle also only comes with 2 amiibo figures. If you want to have 4 human players, you must shell out an extra $26, $32 if you plan to get more amiibo cards. Ugh. Well, moving on. As I said before, the mini-games range from bad to epic. Unlike the board game, these games use the amiibo cards more than the figures themselves, but both the mini-games and the board game utilize amiibo functionality in some way, usually in some simple gimmick, which I didn't mind that much. In fact, I thought the simple amiibo gimmicks made the games more interesting. Overall, the mini-game selection here is alright. I enjoyed half of the collection. The bad ones are just forgettable, but the good ones are really good and helped me come back. So, with all this information, is Amiibo Festival as bad as people say it is, or is it actually a decent game? Well, let's get straight into the review and find out. To review this game, I'm gonna critique it in 4 different categories: gameplay, replayability, visuals, and sound. With that said, let's start with gameplay. Amiibo Festival isn't a fast-paced game. It's very relaxed and calm. The board game itself isn't bad, but it's not something you'll come back to, and it does get a bit long. The minigames are a mixed bag. Some are simply amazing, in which I spent hours on, while others are forgettable after the first couple of playthroughs. The amiibo functionality felt shoehorned in, however. In fact, it really isn't used cleverly. Most of the time, it's just used to replace the function of a button, but I wouldn't say that I hated it. One big blow to the game though is that you can't even play all the minigames, as you'll need more amiibo cards than what you get from the bundle. However, having different cards can affect the minigames in certain ways, so it's not so bad to get more in the first place. Wrapping this section up. For some parts of the game, it's gonna come down to what you think, but overall, I think the game was decent. Not bad, but not great. In this category, I give Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival a 55%. Our next category is replayability. To be honest, I felt like there wasn't much in this game. There's just the board game and the 8 minigames, some of which you won't come back to whatsoever. However, those few minigames have kept me coming back. The board game itself is something that I may play every so often, but it won't be my first choice for what to play when I feel like popping in a game. So there's the board game and the minigames to play. But is there anything else? Well, more than I thought actually. One thing that lengthens the game is that you have to unlock everything first. But as I said previously, I don't really like. A second thing that lengthens the game is that you can unlock items for your amiibo. But then again, the items that you unlock don't really do much. The last big thing that might make players come back is that by earning happy tickets in the minigames, you can add more objects to the board. However, this just makes a cosmetic change and not a gameplay change, so it isn't that big of a deal. In conclusion, there's more to do than what you might expect, but there still isn't much to come back to. And if you don't like most of the minigames, then the game might be even shorter. In this section, the game gets a 50% from me. Next category is visuals. I'll be straight with you. This game looks pretty awesome. It has that familiar Animal Crossing look, but with tons of detail. I haven't seen an Animal Crossing game look so amazing. This is another part of the game that seems to go unnoticed, but needs to be addressed. Wrapping this section up, the game has very nice visuals, and I can't wait to see this in the next installment of this series. 90%. And our last category is sound. The music in this game isn't anything worth bragging about. Don't get me wrong, nothing sounds bad, it just isn't very special. It's mostly remixes of previous Animal Crossing tracks. Even the few new songs in this game aren't that awesome. In conclusion, the game gets the job done, but doesn't amaze. 65% in this category. In the end, I don't think Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival deserves all the hate it gets. Sure, it isn't what we all wanted, but there's nothing wrong with having a spin-off title. I myself am looking forward to seeing what Nintendo does from here with the Animal Crossing franchise. I hope they continue making spin-off titles, just with a better reception from fans. In conclusion, I give Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival a 65% with the grade of a B-, and I can only recommend this game to Animal Crossing fans, as I think they'll find the most enjoyment from here. For everyone else, there are far better party games out there.